Shalom. I'm the brother Kwatazap Sayan, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushai with another lesson. But before I go on, I want to say Kal Halal Yam, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Bahasham Raka Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth and who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Khan Akim. So today I was standing outside. The date is, let's see, the 21st. Yeah, now it's the 22nd, but in the 21st of April at night, like 10 p.m., I was standing outside and I saw this trail of chariots passing above my head. And that was just amazing, man. That was just a yapa to see. And while I was standing there, praising the Most High and His Son's name, which Yahweh is the Most High's name, and Yahushai is the name of the person who everybody ignorantly calls Jesus, while I was praying to them, looking at their glory, and then I just went into the spirit, man. Started to look up some scriptures, put a lesson together. I looked for this article because I tried to film it also, but then my video camera would not record it because it was a bit too dark. So I looked up an article, and this is the best I could come up with. This is from ad.nl, which reads, dozens of people see chain, which it's literally a trail, because this is translated from the Dutch. So dozens of people see trail moving lights in the sky. A trail of dozens of slowly moving lights in the sky was seen in many places in the Netherlands on Sunday evening around 11 p.m. No, they were not UFOs, but a number of Starlink satellites from Elon Musk. See the date. What's that? The 20th of April, 2020, which is not even correct because it was the 21st. So that's how you could see these devils. They're already writing these things down. They know that it's going to come, and then they make up some stupid excuse what it could be, that it could be satellites. You see? But anyway, it looked kind of something like this. For lack of better footage, I'm going to use this. Yeah, man. This had me meditating upon the scriptures, because the scriptures say, search ye out of the book, the book of scriptures, the book of prophecies. So I went into the scriptures and I put down a lesson, and Yahweh is edifying to the elect, and that it will boost your faith, So I'm going to start with the book of Ezekiel. Let's see. The book of Ezekiel 43 verse 1. After he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east, because I saw all these chariots, because they said it was like 60 of them, Let's see, where does it say that? Oh, the language switched. But here you could see that it's 60 satellites. But that was on the 18th of March. But this was in that number, it was also like 50 or 60 of these chariots that I saw. And they were all going towards the east. So that had me meditating upon, the east. That's where Jerusalem is. That's where Israel is. you know. So that made me come across this scripture, Ezekiel 43:1. Afterward, he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh towards the east, looking toward Jerusalem, looking towards Israel. And behold, the glory of Yahweh, of Yasharallah, of Israel, came from the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory. Gone. So this his glory is speaking about the chariots, man. So the chariot came from the east because the temple, the gate was made to point towards the east. So when the chariot comes from the east, then the chariot can enter into through the gate. You see, and behold, the glory of Yahweh of Israel came from the way of the east, and his voice was like a noise of many waters, you know. So he would come with many roarings, you know, roarings and thunders, you know. When that chariot comes, it's not peaceably, you know, like how I saw it floating peaceably to the east. That's just an invasion that's being made ready, you know. All these chariots were peaceably going in formation and in order towards the east. But when they're going to come, then it's going to come with the voice like a noise of many waters, and the earth will shine with his glory, you know, because the brightness of these chariots. And it shall, verse 3, and it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision that I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell upon my face. Let's go to that scripture real quick, because he's referring to a certain point in time, the other vision that he had. This is Ezekiel 1:3. The word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel, the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar. And the hand of Yahweh was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud of fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was upon it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Gone. So this is speaking about the chariots. It's speaking about the whirlwind. That's a chariot come out of the north, a great cloud. You know, because these chariots can manipulate their figure and become looking like clouds, you know, as a whirlwind also. And a fire enfolding itself, you know, because the scripture says it was a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, which leaded our people from Egypt when the Pharaoh let us go, you know, when we were walking in the wilderness. And the brightness was about it, you know, like the brightness that I just saw, Yaratazah, this night, you know, Kal Halal Yom Yahweh Basham Yahushai. So it was bright. So brightness was about it, and out the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Gone. But this one, what I saw, it wasn't the color of amber. It was greenish. And that's in Ezekiel, because they have many colors. They have even the colors of rainbows. But in Ezekiel 10, verse 9, this is the color that I saw tonight. Ezekiel 10, verse 9. And when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub. And the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. Gone. So beryl stone is kind of greenish, you know. Aquamarine, I believe. But yeah, let me just Google it for a second. Beryl color. It's kind of like this. Kind of greenish, you know. See, like this. This is the bolt of light with the color of beryl that I saw, you know, representing that's the chariots of the Most High, which are making themselves ready for this invasion. God, let me go to the book of Psalms. Because little by little, they're preparing themselves. They're not just 1 or 2 or 10 or 20. No, because this is what the scripture says. Psalm 68, verse 17. The chariots of Yahweh Basham Yahushai are 20,000, even thousands of angels. Yahweh is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Gone, you see? So the chariots are 20,000 and even thousands of angels. You see? So it's not a small number of chariots. That's why we saw so many tonight. And they're probably gathering more. I don't know if it's every night, but this is not the end, man. The chariots are being prepared to invade America. And they were not moving slow as they were not moving slow as how they put it down in the article. Actually, they're moving real swiftly because not even a plane moved that fast as how these chariots were moving. Gone. This is Jeremiah 4 and 13. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. You see? So the chariots and the horses, they're also called horses of the Most High, they are swifter than eagles. That's why they were floating as fast as they were floating. They are very, very swift and faster than any aircraft that Esau can make, you know. So now they're being gathered, and then the glory is going to be manifested of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Because now they fly in peace, but they're being made ready for the day of wrath, the day of anger of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. This is Nahum 1 and 3. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. And who's the wicked? The wicked is these Edomites, Esau, you know. And the head tribe, Amalek, you know, which forms the 1%, the so-called Jew, the banking community, you know, the bankers, the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, the Rothschild, Bilderberg, and what are the other names? I can't really, the names escape my remembrance. But yeah, these banking families, they're going to get it, man. They think that their money is going to save them, that they're going to be in these underground bunkers and in these spaceships and these satellites. But Yahweh Basham Yahushai is going to put the spirit upon his men to go get them and enslave them. God. Going back to the scripture. It's Nahum 1 and 3. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked, Esau. Speaking about Esau, Yahweh had his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Verse 4. He rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The next verse is also good. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burnt at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Who shall stand before his indignation, and who shall abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. God, that's just beautiful, man. That's the day that we're waiting for the wicked to be destroyed. And this is an evident token unto the wicked that they have but a short time, you know. They see these chariot sightings, and then they get even more fearful. Then they want to push the RFID chip and the New World Order even more, you know. Because this COVID-19 is the perfect tool for them to just usher in all these things, you know. Martial law, Jacob's trouble is at hand. We are in the beginning of Jacob's trouble, you know, as the elders and apostles say. Starting with the elder apostle Tahar. But yeah, man, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is making his ministers and his angels and his chariots ready, all pointing and going towards the east, making them ready for this invasion. Gone. But as the scriptures say, Nahum 4:1-4, Salakia, he rebuked the sea and maketh it dry, and dried up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. Gone. So that's what the fury and the anger and the chariots, because the chariots are seen as the Most High's feet, you know. The beams, those are the beams of his feet. Where the chariots go, that's the earth trembles, you know, the water parts. Let me show you a picture. This is what happens. You know, he rebuked the sea, and then the sea lift up his hands, because you gotta envision what these prophets were seeing. You know, by the way that they wrote these visions down, you could see that this is what he meant. You know, he rebuked the sea. The sea just moves and utters his deep, you know. Let me get the scripture, because that's a beautiful scripture in Habakkuk. Starting at 8 until 10. Habakkuk 3:8. Was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? You see, because in the last scripture it says his feet were like the dust. Let's see. Let's go back. Gone. And the clouds are the dust of his feet. The clouds is speaking about the chariots. So wherever these chariots go, that's where the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua goeth. And the clouds are the dust, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. You see? So, was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Thy bow was made quite naked, according to the oath of the tribes, even thy word, Salah. Thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by, and the deep uttered his voice, and lifted up his hands on high. Gone. That's where this picture comes to mind, you know. The deep uttered his voice, because when these chariots come, they don't come silent, like how they silently and peaceably pass above us today. No, when they're gonna come with great roaring, as many waters, you know, because when they pass through the waters, then It's a ear pounding sound that you're gonna hear, you know, a roaring sound. The deep is gonna utter his voice, and the sea is gonna be rebuked. They're gonna lift up their hands, as the scriptures say, and lifted up his hands on high. That's what the water is gonna do. You see, that's just beautiful, man. That's just what comes to mind when I see the invasion of America. What's gonna happen, you know? Let's jump to verse 15. And 16. Habakkuk 3, verse 15. Thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heap of great waters, when I heard my belly trembled. You know, what I was speaking about, the uttering of the voice of the Most High. You know, it's a fearful sound when he comes with his chariots and his horses. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up into the people, he will invade them with his troops. You see, that great invasion is being made ready. This is where they get all these alien invasion movies from, you know. It's all scriptural. So this invasion is made ready. He will invade them with his troops. Which troops? The chariots. With his glory. You see? And when he uttereth his voice, that's when these chariots come with a mighty wind and a mighty roaring. Let's see. Look here in verse 2. It speaks about Habakkuk 3 and 2. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech, and I was afraid. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. God, so in his wrath, he's gonna tear down these heathens, you know, in his wrath. Because that's what we're reading about. We're reading about that Yahweh is slow to anger, but when he comes, he's gonna march through these heathens, man. In wrath, remember mercy, Babakasha. You know, mercy upon his saints, mercy upon the 144,000. But the heathen are gonna get it. You see? And this is what's gonna simultaneously happen in that time also. It's one of the beautiful scriptures, because all the angels, all the chariots were pointing and going towards the east. And this is what the scriptures say. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the east. So shall they fear the name from Yahweh from the west. Meaning these Western nations, you know, West, Europe, America. You know, they're going to fear the name of Yahweh Basham Yahushai and his glory from the rising of the sun, meaning the glory that's going to come from Jerusalem, you know, because his glory, his chariots are going to come from Jerusalem, and it's going to come simultaneously with Yahushai. So Yahushai is going to be upon these chariots on one big chariot, and then thousands of other chariots are going to accompany him. You know? When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Meaning that the men of the Lord, the 144,000, are going to get spiritual powers in that time. You know? So that they can rise up and lift up a standard against Esau. You see? And that's all going to happen simultaneously when Yahushai comes with the glory and of his chariots of the Most High. And everybody of the 144,000 is going to be beamed up. And then in the twinkling of an eye, then they're going to be changed. You see? Let's go to Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him when he comes from the east. And they also which pierced him, gone, because reincarnation is in the Bible. So everybody that pierced him, everybody that said, let his blood be upon our names and upon our families, upon our children, those men, those people are going to see him. And all children, Salakia, and all kindred of the earth shall will because of him. Even so, Aman. God. So when Yahweh comes with his clouds and with the chariots from the east, from the rising of the sun, every eye shall see him, and they shall be sore afraid. God. And I want to read a bit from Baruch, the book of Baruch. Let's start at 29 till 37 to close it off. God, this is Baruch 4:29. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. God, so take with thee a good heart, be of good cheer, as the book of Joshua says, chapter 1. For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. And who gave Jerusalem that name? Because Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and Israel in the Lashon Kodash is Yashar Allah, which means he, Prince of Power. An angel gave him that name. Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, gave Jacob that name Israel through this angel. You see, so be comforted, because this is what's going to happen. Baruch 4:31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiceth at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. Gone. So all these cities which thy children serves, and thy children is speaking about the children of Israel, because we have been scattered abroad, all these, the four winds of the earth. So we are serving all these other nations, and we're not serving our power as how we should, but they're going to made miserable. Miserable is she that receiveth thy sons. And the she is speaking about the daughter of Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, which is America, the capital of Esau right now, the military might capital of Esau. Gone. Verse 33, for as she rejoiceth at thy ruins, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away, Salakia, the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east. Gone. So these chariots going towards the east had me thinking about this scripture. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from Yahweh. Gone. It's just beautiful, man. So we were watching, I was watching the east. I was watching all these chariots going eastward, and the scripture says, from the rising of the sun, that's where Yahweh is going to send his son forth from, and every eye shall see him coming upon chariots and clouds. So these chariots are being prepared, man, for that great invasion, for that Armageddon, for that day of Armageddon, the day of the valley of the troops. Verse 37, Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sendest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh. God. So thy sons, speaking about the 144,000, speaking about the children of Israel, whom thou sendest away, they come gathered together. God. So these chariots are going to gather the 144,000 together and bring them to the east into Jerusalem, and Yahweh Tazah, that I'm of that number and that we're going to be together with Yahweh Shai fighting these devils, in that day. Thou come gathered together from the east to the west, meaning scattered across the four winds of the earth, by the word of the Holy One. God, because that's what's linking us together. Every single brother of GMS, he heard the word, and then he fell in love, He fell in love with the word. He fell in love with that. That's how we learn how to become men of the Lord. That's how we learn how to be brotherly, by the word, the law, statutes, and commandments that are written in the Bible. They perfect us, So the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh. God, we're going to be rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh, which is these chariots, man. Because what does the scripture say? No longer are we going to be called the people that that came from Egypt, All praises to the Most High that brought us from Egypt. No, they're going to say, all praises to the Most High that took us from the land of the north. Let me see if I could find it. Bear with me for a second. Khan. Kala halal yam Yahweh basham Yahushai. This is the scripture I was looking for. Jeremiah 23:7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell, and they shall dwell in their own land. Gone. So we're going to be gathered from all the countries of the world where He has driven us, and no longer shall they say, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, speaking about America, and from all the countries whither I have driven them. Gone. So, Lord willing, this video was edifying, and I want to say Kal Halal Yam Yahweh Basham Yahushai Basham Rekakodash, and endure Akim. We're almost out of here. Shalom.